Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Soul Calibur video. Now today in my History of series, I'll be talking about none other than the beautiful red-headed Hilde. Now Hilde is of German descent and is in fact a princess. Being the daughter of the king of Wolf Crone, a fictional German kingdom, Hilde was born into royalty. However, despite her riches, she wasn't brought up as some kind of pampered girl. You see, she idolized her father, who was by all intents and purposes a warrior king. He had earned his position and was the strong ruler of Wolf Crone. So in many ways, Hilde idolized her father and wished to have followed in his footsteps. So she would train herself to become the best warrior in the kingdom. Now sadly, as the years passed by, her father's sanity began to decline. But that wasn't due to age or any form of sickness he had, but her father had been tainted by the evil dark seed of Soul Edge, corrupting the king and eventually turning him into a monster. Eventually, when he lost all form of his sanity, he was locked deep away in the chambers of the castle, with many hoping that one day he'd come to his senses once again. However, many did have to accept the fact that he was at the point of no return. Now, with the king out of the picture, the kingdom would eventually fall into the hands and leadership of Hilde. Now, one might believe that this would be overwhelming for someone of Hilde's age. However, she had trained her entire life for this, so she would take up the throne with the hopes of surpassing her father and making him proud. Now, her first order was to track down what had exactly happened to her father. This was an irregular event that had never happened before, and this is where Hilde caught word about Soul Edge and the Azure Knight, Nightmare. Learning about the legend of the blade and the destructive capabilities that Nightmare had, she would set her eyes on conquest against the Azure Knight, so the Wolf Crone army would have many skirmishes with Nightmare's forces. And although this was physically and mentally draining on Hilde, each battle allowed her to become emotionally and physically stronger. Skirmish after skirmish allowed her to become familiar with her weapons and eventually find a form of comfort on the battlefield. Now, during the fourth Soul Calibur game, the castle of Ostrheinsburg began to stir, and the residents of Wolf Crone could actually feel it. A dark energy was amassing in one point, and Hilde presumed that this was the final battle between Wolf Crone and Nightmare's forces. So she would assemble her forces once again for what she believed was the final battle. Now, whilst traveling to Ostrheinsburg with her army, she'd caught word about a fellow German citizen known as Siegfried. You see, Siegfried at this point in time had become the wielder of Soul Calibur, the legendary holy sword that was said to be the counterpart of Soul Edge. So Hilde naturally wanted to reach out to him and work with him so they could destroy Soul Edge once and for all. And indeed they were successful, as during the climax of Soul Calibur 4, Wolf Crone was able to defeat Nightmare's army, while Siegfried was given the opportunity to battle Nightmare and defeat the Azure Knight, which in turn seemingly vanquished Soul Edge. Now, with the evil blade apparently destroyed, Hilde would return back home. However, all was not well. The kingdom was in ruins, and her land and people had been tainted by Soul Edge and its dark energy. So in order to create a better home for her residents, Hilde was forced to take her people and attempt to find them a new homeland to start all over again. So for a very long amount of time, Hilde and her people would travel from nation to nation. Unfortunately, they were able to create a home for themselves. Now, between the 4th and 5th Soul Calibur game, there was an age of peace in Germany, and Hilde was finally able to settle down and have a family of her own, as she did have 2 children. However, the peace would not be kept for so long. As you see, 17 years after the events of Soul Calibur 5, Soul Edge and Soul Calibur would resurface once more. Now, Hilde herself didn't necessarily care about the wielder, but more so about removing Soul Edge from existence once again. So when she was approached by Siegfried, who wanted to unite their forces together, Hilde without any form of hesitation did so, and together they would wage a war against Nightmare and his Malfested. Now, for the first time in a long while, Hilde felt extremely nervous on the battlefield. A lot of time had passed since her last battle, and not only that, but for the first time in her life, she had a family she could lose. So Hilde was hoping that she'd be able to survive this battle and return back home to her children. Now, the battle I'm talking about here is actually shown in the main story mode of the game, and it's just before Pyrrha is able to obtain Soul Edge. And with the main story focusing on Pyrrha and Patroclus, we don't really know too much about this massive battle, and the only casualty that we are aware about is the fall of Zwei. So unfortunately, we do not know the actual fate of Hilde. But yes, that's it for this video for now, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do apologize for the somewhat anticlimactic ending, but due to the rushed nature of Soul Calibur 5, a lot of story elements in this game are missing, so Hilde isn't the only character that suffers from this. Now, in saying that, would any of you be interested in seeing her return in Soul Calibur 6, possibly as DLC, as she is rather popular and most definitely has a very unique playstyle? Please do comment down below. But yeah, that more or less does wrap it up for this video, guys. Now, if possible, let's try getting this video to about 500 likes. That's a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. And also, they've been tinkering around with the algorithm recently, which is why many of my videos haven't been turning up in the sub box or any of the recommended. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. Now, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.